I have no clue why I thought driving 9 hours through a Midwest snowstorm was a good idea. Maybe I was still clinging to the storybook version of my life, the one I believed in when Abigail and I first got married. 7 years is a long time. People change. I changed. She changed more. The roads were half ice, half misery, and the sky spat white flakes so thick I couldn't see the headlights in front of me. But I kept going. Mile after mile, pull over, cancel the surprise. No, I was determined, stupidly determined, to show up on my wife's birthday weekend, gift in hand, as if we were still a normal couple. She'd gone to her sister Mia's place in another state for a spa day with friends, so I told her I had too much work to join. In truth, I'd arranged time off specifically to drive out there. Hotel reservation booked, a fancy dinner lined up, and that damn cake from her favorite bakery. The birthday was going to be perfect, or so I thought. After nearly 9 punishing hours, I pulled onto Mia's street at around 4 in the afternoon. The plows hadn't even bothered to come by, which left chunky drifts of slush that made parking a nightmare. I ended up leaving my car a block away. The wind stabbed my face as I trudged through the snow, half hugging the bright pink cake box to keep it from getting wet. By the time I finally reached the front door, my jeans were soaked from the knees down. Happy birthday, honey, I thought, trying to conjure that warm feeling that used to come so easily. But before I could knock or announce myself, I heard familiar voices, Abigail and Mia laughing in the kitchen. "He texted earlier," my wife was saying, said something about being stuck at work, more like stuck in that stupid game of his. "Yeah," Mia responded dryly. "Noah loves those headphones more than real-life conversations." They both laughed. Not the gentle teasing I'd sometimes overhear, but a genuine, pointed mockery. My name came up again, and I froze, hand hovering over the doorknob. Abigail's tone turned conspiratorial. "I don't even care if he's bored. I wanted the weekend to myself. That man's been driving me crazy. I swear, Mia, if I have to listen to him go on about the same 3 stories all night, like the time we got lost on that camping trip or that joke about the fast food worker, God, I might scream," Mia chuckled. "At least he's not here ruining your big night. Roads are a disaster anyway." Abigail let out a snort. "Oh, please. Let him drive in the ice. He's the one who chose to stay behind, right? If he tried coming out in this weather, I'd roll my eyes and say, 'Crash, for all I care.'" She paused. Then the words that changed everything fell out of her mouth like poison. "God, I hope he crashes. I could use the insurance." In the silence that followed, I thought maybe I'd imagined it. Who wishes that on their spouse? Then Mia's voice piped up, a hushed giggle in her throat. Or at least a few months of quiet. "He's always in your ear, right?" They laughed. Actual laughter at the idea of me, her husband, sliding off the road into a ditch, or worse. My stomach twisted. The cake felt heavier than any object had a right to be. Without warning, Abigail's voice turned sly again. "Speaking of which, I was messing around on my phone the other day, and I installed that new dating app. Just to see what's out there. Oh my God, Mia, you won't believe the guy I matched with. Huge, tall, dark, and let's just say the man is gifted." I pressed closer, the back of my neck prickling with dread. A dating app? We were still married. Even if we'd been going through a rough patch, that's not something she ever brought up. My face burned with embarrassment and anger. Mia gasped. "Get out! That's insane! Let me see!" There was a rustling sound like a phone being waved around. Abigail lowered her voice, but I still caught every word. "I recorded him. Just a quick little snippet. Look at this. See how big he is? Way bigger than Noah's, and trust me, it felt better than any closeness I've had in years." They snickered together like a couple of middle schoolers showing off a contraband phone. My vision blurred. She was cheating, apparently bragging about it to her sister and mocking me in the most insulting way. I felt like I'd been stabbed in the chest. Mia let out a scandalized bark of laughter. "Damn, girl, that's massive! So, is it official you're hooking up, or do you just want to keep it casual?" Abigail giggled. "For now, it's casual, but if Noah found out..." "Oh man, I bet it'd break him. He's got his uses, though, especially that life insurance." Keep telling myself, if he tries to ruin my fun, maybe I should encourage him to drive in a snowstorm. Mia's reply was muffled, as though she'd turned away. "You're bad. Let's just hope he stays away. You deserve this birthday." The conversation drifted to other things, but my ears were ringing so loud I hardly registered it. My wife was hooking up with some tall stranger, apparently with a giant Johnson, while I was out here risking my life to bring her a damn birthday cake. and she was literally hoping I'd crash my car for the insurance. An icy ache filled my entire body, part shock, part heartbreak, part rage. My hands were trembling. The doorknob felt cold beneath my grip. I made a split-second decision. I'm going in there. Let them see me. Let them realize their cruelty. I pushed the door open. The old hinges squeaked. I stepped into the warmth of the house. The kitchen was just off the hallway. Abigail and Mia spun around, eyes going wide. That moment, seeing their faces, has been etched into my mind. Abigail's lips parted like a fish gulping air. "Noah," she whispered, color draining from her cheeks. Mia just stood there, phone in hand, a look of pure horror on her face. I said nothing. I couldn't speak. My throat was locked up with every raw emotion under the sun. I walked to the counter, placed the pink cake box down carefully, like it was some sacred offering. Then I turned and left. Abigail called my name. Mia said something like, "Wait, we can explain," but I was gone. Out the door, into the snow, heart hammering like a drum in my ears. I stumbled back to my car, hands numb. The phone started buzzing in my pocket, a rapid-fire barrage of calls from Abigail. I tossed my phone onto the passenger seat, started the engine, and let out a shuddering breath. The tears came, hot and furious, mixing with the cold dryness of the winter air. A swirl of confusion battered my mind. She cheated. She laughed. She wanted me dead. My first instinct was to check that my phone's recorder was off. I'd used a voice memo app earlier to note some last-minute gift ideas. A quick glance confirmed it had been left running the entire time. The display showed nearly an hour of audio, so the entire humiliating conversation, I had it. Without planning to, I'd just recorded my wife bragging about cheating and mocking my manhood. Maybe I should have deleted it. But something told me to keep it. Proof. Or maybe just an anchor to remind myself I wasn't crazy. That night, I found a dingy motel that cost me $80. The room smelled like stale cigarettes and despair. I turned my phone off, stared at the ceiling, and tried not to think about the details she'd shared about this other man. How he was so huge, how it was incredible, how my own body was apparently inadequate. I tried not to replay her words about my life insurance. I tried, but it was impossible. The next morning, I turned my phone on. The barrage of missed calls and messages was overwhelming. I read none of them except for a text from my best friend Theodore. Me. "Hey, something happened with Abigail. Can I crash at your place for a bit?" Theo. "Dude, of course. Doors unlocked, beers in the fridge." So I drove back another 9 hours, ironically surviving the same storm that she'd hoped would take me out. At home, I grabbed clothes, documents, anything vital. Her car was still missing, probably still at Mia's. Perfect. I left the ring on the dresser. Not because I was certain it was over yet, but because the thought of wearing it made my stomach turn. Then I slipped out the door and made my way to Theo's place. That was 3 days ago. In that time, she's tried everything to contact me, voicemails from tearful to raging. "It was a joke," one message said. "You got it all wrong," said another. "I can't believe you do this to me on my birthday weekend," whined a third. Not once did she say, "I'm sorry for cheating." Not once did she own up to lying about me or belittling me behind my back. I changed all my passwords: banking, email, social media. Then I froze our joint credit cards, moved half the money out of our joint savings, and told my boss I'd be working remotely for at least a week. If she wanted to talk about destroying our marriage, she could do it with a lawyer. Inside, I felt numb, but also weirdly awake. Everything was so crystal clear now. The woman I thought I knew had no problem sleeping with a random from a dating app and mocking me for sport. The night after I moved in with Theo, we sat on his couch, and I ended up playing part of the recording for him, the snippet about the insurance. He physically recoiled. "Jesus, Noah," he said quietly. That's messed up, man." He didn't even know the half of it, how she'd bragged about the other guy's size, how she said the closeness was better. Maybe my pride was too wounded to share those details. By day 4, something had hardened inside of me. I decided to confront her about the cheating directly. Only, I didn't want to see her face to face. I'd do it in a text, just so I had everything documented. I typed it out, referencing specific lines from the recording. "I know about the dating app. I know you bragged about hooking up with someone with a giant Johnson. I know you said it was better than me, don't deny it." Then I deleted the message draft. I realized I'd prefer to keep that knowledge close to the chest for now. Let her squirm, wondering how much I'd heard. Let her lie if she wanted. My illusions about us were gone, replaced by a colder, more calculating version of myself. I started going through the phone logs. I'm not proud to admit it, but I had her iCloud password from years ago. At first, I told myself I'd never stoop to snooping. Then I remembered she publicly said it was incredible, that she had a recorded snippet of him on her phone. So one night, when Theo was asleep, I caved. I logged into her iCloud on my laptop. What I found was horrifying. She'd actually saved the short video from her phone to the cloud. In it, she was in a dimly lit bedroom. You couldn't see her face fully, but you could see the outline of a tall, muscular man with dark skin standing near the bed. She was giggling as she panned the camera down to show how huge he was. No faces, no identities, but her voice was unmistakable. "Just look at that! It puts Noah to shame! This is insane!" She ended the clip with a breathless laugh. My ears burned. My chest felt tight. My entire body flooded with a sensation that was equal parts revulsion, heartbreak, and a weird fascination. This was my wife, someone who used to cling to me every night, now practically drooling over a stranger, and mocking me for not measuring up. I downloaded the clip onto a flash drive. Then, for reasons I can't fully explain, maybe out of pure rage or a twisted need for control, I decided to post it anonymously. Not the entire video, just a snippet. I hopped on Reddit, found a certain thread that specialized in relationship revenge exposures, and I posted, "Found out my wife is cheating. She bragged about this. Thoughts?" No personal details, no mention of real names or faces. The man was unidentifiable. It was humiliating for her, though, because if you knew her voice, you'd recognize it. I included a short bit where she said, "It's so much better than what I get at home." I didn't expect many people to see it, but the internet can be unpredictable. I woke up to chaos. My DMs were flooded. Several had recognized her voice, apparently mutual acquaintances or even casual online friends. They were stunned. One person wrote, "Is that Abigail? Holy crap!" Another said, "Dude, you can't just post your wife's personal stuff." But others cheered me on, saying I was right to expose her. It was like a twisted peanut gallery. By noon, my phone was blowing up again. Abigail's father called me repeatedly. I didn't answer. He left a voicemail. "Noah, I saw that post. I don't know what the hell's going on, but you need to take it down. This is humiliating my daughter. You better call me back or so help me." I laughed bitterly when I heard it. Humiliating your daughter? She humiliated me first. She wanted me dead for life insurance. She bragged about some random dude's oversized junk. But sure, I'm the bad guy here. He tried calling again an hour later. This time, I picked up, letting an anger I didn't know I had swirl in my gut. "Hello?" I answered. "Noah!" he shouted. "What in God's name are you doing, posting that filth online? That's my daughter. I raised her better. I don't give a damn who you raised." I cut him off. "Your precious daughter hoped I'd crash my car to collect insurance. She's cheating. She doesn't deserve my respect. She sure as hell didn't show me any." He hesitated, clearly thrown off by my tone. In the past, I was the mild-mannered son-in-law who wanted to impress him. Not anymore. Finally, he hissed, "You've got no proof. Stop these lies and take down whatever you posted or I'll—" "You'll what?" I snapped. "Go to the cops? Good luck. There's no identifying info. For all anyone knows, anyone could have posted it. Maybe it's that big tall guy she was bragging about. Maybe he put it out there. The father of your cheating daughter can go straight to hell." I hung up. My heart hammered in my chest. I wasn't proud of the venom in my voice, but I also felt a strange satisfaction. I was done playing the nice guy. In the meantime, I kept ignoring all Abigail's pleas. I got messages on every platform, even an email at my work address. She tried framing herself as the victim, claiming it was a drunken mistake, that the dating app was just for fun, that she only said I had a small package because she was showing off to Mia. Not once did she say, "I'm sorry, I hoped you would die," or "I'm sorry for humiliating you." But then the tone of her messages shifted. She went from defensive to furious. One text read, "I know you posted that video. It has to be you. How dare you do that to me, humiliating me in front of my friends? All my friends are asking questions and my father's threatening legal action. You're an asshole for that. I might have said some awful stuff, but this is next level. You have no right." I stared at the screen, a bitter taste in my mouth. No right? She had no right to do half the things she did, but I stayed silent, didn't respond. Later that week, I met with a financial advisor, Milton, to figure out how to untangle our finances. Turned out Abigail was even deeper in debt than I suspected. Thousands racked up on credit cards, mysterious ATM withdrawals, a store card I never knew about. Possibly she'd been funneling money to support her new fling or just fueling a shopping addiction. Who knows? Are you planning on divorcing her? Milton asked gently, scanning the bank statements. I shrugged. I'm not sure. Part of me wants to just vanish, but the house is in both our names. Got to figure something out. Milton gave me a sympathetic look. Well, let's at least freeze any further debt from hitting your name. She's proven she can't be trusted. I nodded. Yeah, let's do that. By the second week of this fiasco, I'd effectively ghosted her. That was when Mia tried cornering me at the grocery store. I was standing by the frozen pizzas, mind racing over what brand Theo liked, when she walked up behind me. Noah, she said quietly. I turned, saw Mia's anxious expression. She was in a puffy coat, basket in hand. Mia, I acknowledged, my face tight. Abigail's worried sick, she began. She's at home falling apart. You can't just freeze her out. She told me everything about the video, about your petty bank stuff. Look, you guys had a misunderstanding. She might have said something messed up, but she didn't mean it, okay? It was just, you're telling me she didn't mean anything, I cut in coldly. She literally said I had a small dick, that she found a man on a dating app who's way better in bed, that she'd collect insurance if I crashed. That's not a misunderstanding, Mia. That's a betrayal. Her cheeks flushed. Just talk to her, okay? This is getting out of hand. People are gossiping. Her father already called me, I growled. He can keep barking. And if you think that video humiliates her, tough. She earned it. I tossed the pizza back into the freezer. You know what? I'm done shopping. I turned and left, ignoring Mia's call of, wait! That was how I handled it now. Zero tolerance for their manipulations. 1 week later, everything escalated. Abigail discovered I'd changed the locks on our house. It wasn't purely out of malice. I just needed to protect my property. That same day, I was working remotely from Theo's dining table when the doorbell rang. Theo answered. Moments later, he came into the living room looking pale. She's here, he muttered, crying, demanding to talk to you. My gut twisted. A big part of me wanted to remain hidden, but I was also sick of feeling cornered in my own life. I stood up, walked to the front hallway. Abigail stood there, hair disheveled, mascara smeared. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. Noah! She sobbed. Why won't you just talk to me? You froze everything, changed the locks. This is my house too. You can't just... I crossed my arms. I can and I did. I pay half the mortgage. I have every right to protect it from you and your new boyfriend. Or is it multiple guys? I kind of lost track. Must be nice to be so busy. She glared, face wet with tears. That's not fair, you bastard. We're married. You can't keep me locked out. I was lonely and I made a stupid mistake. I told you 100 times it was a joke gone wrong. A joke? I let out a harsh laugh. No, you're not lying your way out of this. I heard you. I recorded you, remember? Or maybe you forgot about that Giant Johnson you were bragging about to Mia. Her eyes widened. I can't believe you spied on me. You can't believe it? You're the one who installed a dating app while married to me. She let out a frustrated shriek, then lunged forward, shoving at my chest. I staggered back a step. Instantly, Theo stepped in from the side, arms raised, but I motioned for him to let her be. She jabbed a finger in my face. You're going to regret posting that clip. My father's talking to lawyers. That was private. I stared right back. I regret nothing. Go ahead, sue me. We'll see how your precious father likes it when the rest of your shady business comes out, and we'll see how the big tall guy feels about all of this. Her lip trembled. Don't you dare drag him into this. He's not... we only hooked up once. Then you shouldn't have bragged to your sister about how he's so much better in bed than me, I fired back. You humiliated me in front of your entire family, and you wished I'd die for insurance money. Don't come crying to me about your so-called privacy now. Her face twisted with rage. I never wished you'd die. Not really. You're twisting my words. I was venting. I was drunk. God, Noah, you were so neglectful, always in your own world. You never even tried to see how lonely I was. You're insane, I muttered. And you sure seemed sober enough in that video to enjoy yourself with your new fling. She lunged at me again, fists clenched, tears streaming. Let me in. That house is mine too. You can't just steal my life from me. I grabbed her wrists, forcing them down. My voice went cold as ice. I know about your giant date app friend. I know about the texts, the sneaky videos. I know you told Mia it was incredible. You think I'm letting you back into my home after that?" She choked out a sob. "You bastard! I was upset you never joined me for anything. And yes, I talked big with Mia. I said mean things I shouldn't have. But you took it too far posting that clip. Now everyone thinks I'm some kind of whore. Do you understand how humiliating that is?" "Not as humiliating as hearing your wife mock your manhood in front of her sister," I retorted, voice shaking. "Now get the hell out of Theo's house, or I'll call the cops." She looked at me, heartbreak and fury warring in her eyes. Then she turned and fled through the front door, letting out a strangled scream on her way down the driveway. I heard the engine of her car start, tires spinning in the slush. Then silence. Theo stepped up beside me. He exhaled slowly, giving me a sidelong look. Dude, that was intense. I just stared at the door. My hands were shaking. I'd never spoken to her like that in my life. Part of me was shocked at how easily it came out. Another part felt a grim sense of satisfaction. She was the one who started this war. I was just finishing it. That same night, while scrolling through anonymous messages, I saw something that made my blood run cold. Someone claiming to be from her circle posted a follow-up. I recognized the voice in that cheating clip. Everyone in her friend group is freaking out, but they have no way to prove who posted it. People suspect the new boyfriend might have done it out of jealousy. I barked out a mirthless laugh. So they think it might be the tall, dark guy? That's perfect. Let them chase their tails. Meanwhile, I kept reading comment after comment, either condemning me for posting personal footage or praising me for exposing a cheater. The internet was split, and I found myself strangely addicted to reading both sides. Meanwhile, text messages from unknown numbers trickled in, likely her friends or relatives hurling insults, but I ignored them. If I was going to be the villain in this story, so be it. I'd at least control my own narrative. By the third week, I'd made an appointment with a divorce lawyer. Let's call him Curtis, recommended by a coworker. He was older, sharp-eyed, with a crisp business suit that screamed efficiency. "So, you have a prenuptial agreement?" he asked, scanning the forms I brought. I shook my head. No prenup. We got married young. Didn't see a need." He nodded slowly. "That complicates things, but you can still push for a favorable settlement if you can prove infidelity or financial misconduct. However, posting that video, that might be seen as retaliation or harassment. Be prepared for that argument." I shrugged, swallowing a surge of guilt. "I did it anonymously. She can't prove it was me." He leveled me with a knowing look. "Even if she suspects, that's not the same as proof. Legally, it's a gray area. Still, I'd tread carefully from here on out. Don't give her more ammo." Leaning back in the chair, I felt a stab of doubt. I'd turned into someone I hardly recognized, a man who'd post an intimate clip on Reddit just to shame his wife. Then I remembered her cackling voice. "It's so much bigger than Noah's. This is insane." The humiliation flooded back, and any remorse I felt shriveled up. "Okay," I said to Curtis, voice steady. "We move forward. I want to freeze her out of my finances as much as possible. She can figure out her own debts." He nodded. "We can arrange a legal separation first, in which you're not responsible for new debts. Then see if you want to finalize the divorce." I signed some papers. We made a plan to serve her documents by the end of the month. Throughout all this, mutual friends started taking sides. Some sent me messages of support, telling me how vile it was that she wished me dead for insurance. Others lashed out, claiming I was humiliating her by airing our dirty laundry. Nobody was neutral. The tension in the social sphere was like a pressure cooker. One random friend of hers, Jill, wrote me a surprisingly candid note. "Noah, I know this is none of my business, but I'm sorry. Abigail's always had a mean streak. I didn't realize she'd stoop so low. I understand if you want to end things, but please don't let this break you. You deserve better." I read it twice. It felt weirdly validating to hear someone else acknowledge that Abigail had a cruel side. For so long, I chalked up her snarky remarks as a dark sense of humor. 4 weeks after that infamous night, the rumors spread that Abigail was in meltdown mode. I heard from acquaintances that she'd become paranoid, checking her phone constantly for leaked photos, convinced the tall guy might have more footage. The father apparently was losing his mind, calling me a vindictive snake, but there was no proof that I personally posted anything. Meanwhile, the house we shared was half empty. She'd apparently gone back, found the locks changed, and had to break a window to get in. She left a tearful voicemail about how I was ruining her life. A small, petty part of me felt good about that. Then I reminded myself that I had once loved this woman, or at least the version of her I thought existed, but that was the old me. The new me was more interested in self-preservation. Around the 5th week, things changed. I started hearing from people that Abigail was turning over a new leaf. She supposedly started going to therapy, cut out her flashy partying, apologized to some folks she'd wronged in the past. Mia wrote me a text. "She's not the same person, Noah. She's truly broken by all of this. I know you feel betrayed, but I hope you can find it in your heart to at least talk to her. She's been hosting these weekly accountability meetings, talking about finances and self-improvement." I rolled my eyes at first. Great, so she's picking up some new hobby. But a weird sense of curiosity gnawed at me. Was she genuinely changing or just trying to play victim? I pushed it out of my mind. The lawyer was preparing the final separation papers, and I was mentally gearing up for the next steps. I'd let her scramble to fix her life if she wanted. My mind was made up, or so I thought. During the week 6, on a random Tuesday, I swung by the old house to grab a few leftover tools from the garage. To my surprise, Abigail was there. She was wearing sweatpants and a hoodie, hair in a messy ponytail, looking more subdued than I'd ever seen her. She spotted me from the kitchen window and came to the back door. I squared my shoulders, preparing for a blow-up, but she approached quietly. "Take whatever you need," she said, voice trembling but controlled. "I'll stay out of your way." I gave a curt nod. I found my toolbox, rummaged through some boxes. She hovered near the door, twisting her fingers. "Noah," she ventured softly, I know you hate me right now. I get it. But I want to say, I'm sorry for everything. The jokes, the cheating, the insurance comment. I was stupid and cruel. And for letting Mia encourage me to say messed up stuff. I kept my back turned. "That's nice, doesn't erase what you did." A ragged breath escaped her. "I know, but I'm working on it. I know you probably think I'm lying. If you wanted proof, I could show you some therapy logs, but that might just make things worse. I just needed to say it." I slowly turned to face her. She looked thinner, dark circles under her eyes. She wasn't wearing any makeup or designer clothes. For a moment, I glimpsed the girl I fell in love with years ago. Vulnerable, uncertain, trying to do the right thing. But then I remembered the video, her voice. "This is so much better than I get at home." My jaw tightened. "All right, well, you've said it. I'm out of here." She swallowed. "Noah, please. I won't push. Just, I've changed. Please believe that, even if you can't forgive me." I walked out of the garage without another word. That night, I found the flash drive with the video and rewatched it, clenching my teeth at her breathy giggle, her blatant excitement while dissing me. Why was I punishing myself by watching it again? Maybe I needed to remind myself not to be swayed by her new penitent act. This was who she was. As I sat there, a new wave of bitterness washed over me. She was putting on a show about changing now that her friends saw the video. She was just trying to salvage her reputation. The sense of righteous anger I'd been fueling for weeks felt heavier. There was no going back. A few days later, I got an unexpected text from Jill, Abigail's old friend who'd been borderline sympathetic to me. She sent me a screenshot of a group chat. Abigail was telling people that I might have posted the video, but she had no proof, and she actually said something along the lines of, "He probably did it." But I also realized I drove him to it. I can't fully blame him if it was him, and I'm dealing with the fallout. That simple admission, she can't blame me if it was me, felt bizarrely mature compared to the meltdown she'd had earlier. But I still told Jill, "Cool story," and left it at that. Week 8, I got another call from her father. This time, I picked up out of sheer curiosity. "I don't want to fight with you," he began, sounding tired. "I just wanted to let you know Abigail's mother has been worried sick, and we've decided not to pursue any legal nonsense. She's an adult. She can handle her own battles. Also, I might owe you an apology." I was so stunned, I nearly dropped the phone. "An apology?" He sighed. "It's true what you said. She messed up big time. I still don't condone that video leak, but I've come to realize that she treated you horribly. I don't know if she's truly changed, but she's definitely trying. I'd appreciate if you two could talk civilly at some point." My first instinct was to snap at him, telling him to back off. but I just exhaled, fatigue settling into my bones. Look, I'm meeting with my lawyer next week. We'll figure out how to handle the divorce. If she wants to talk, she can contact me through my attorney. He cleared his throat, disappointment evident. I understand. I just hope... Well, never mind. Good luck, Noah. Without waiting for more, I hung up. For once, I didn't feel the usual triumph, just emptiness. Week 9. The divorce papers were ready. I had them served to her at home, not at her workplace. I wasn't that cruel. My phone lit up an hour later. She called, left a voicemail. Noah, I got the papers. I guess this is what you want. I won't fight it. If you want out, I'll sign. But I'd really like to talk one more time. If possible, we owe each other at least that much honesty. We agreed to meet at the house the next day. I arrived around lunchtime. She opened the door with a bitter look. No smile, no greeting. You're proud of yourself? She snapped. That video? My parents saw it. My coworkers, my friends. I walked inside, keeping calm. The place looked bare. Boxes everywhere. The big TV was gone. Something was off. You filmed yourself bragging about cheating, I said flatly. I didn't tell you to show your sister. You humiliated me, she shouted. You've ruined everything. My job's hanging by a thread. I can't even go online without people messaging me disgusting things. I shrugged. Now you know how I felt. She laughed, cold, bitter. You act like you're some victim. You left, drained the accounts, and now you're playing the wounded saint? You said you hoped I'd crash and die, I replied. You joked about cashing in on my death. That wasn't serious, she screamed. God, you're so dramatic. No, Abigail, you're just not used to consequences. She stepped closer. You think you're better than me now? No, just finally done pretending you're a good person. Something snapped in her face. You ruined my ducking life, she screamed, and without warning, grabbed a mug off the counter and hurled it at me. It missed by inches, shattering on the floor. Get out, I said, reaching for my phone. Now! She lunged, slapping at my arm. Touch me again, I said, backing away. I'm calling the police. Her voice cracked. You're gonna call the cops on me? I'm done, I dialed. Yes, I'd like to report an assault. My wife just threw a mug at me and tried to hit me. Yes, I'm safe. She's still here. Her expression twisted as she backed away, eyes wide. She started crying, but the rage didn't leave her face. 15 minutes later, the police showed up. I met them at the door. She tried to explain it was a domestic dispute, but the shattered mug on the floor and the scratch on my arm said otherwise. They cuffed her gently, walked her out. She looked back once, eyes red. You destroyed me, she whispered. No, I said. You did that yourself. She was fined and released the next day. A no-contact order followed. I filed for divorce that week. No more messages, no more scenes, just silence and finally peace.